Story 1. When someone is quietly and effortlessly competent at something, especially a mundane task, like watching them perfectly parallel park in one move, efficiently pack a car trunk like it is a game of Tetris, or navigate a chaotic grocery store with calm purpose. It is not flashy, but that quiet mastery of their little corner of the world is incredibly attractive. Story 2. When someone remembers the little things I said, like a random story, my favorite snack, or how I like my coffee, it is not flashy, but it feels very meaningful. Story 3. Fantastic smelling people. I cannot normally comment on it because it is unusual. Oh boy, do I love a great smelling person. Story 4. When someone is really listening to what I say, not just wanting to talk, but actually truly absorbing what I say. Story 5. The look on someone's face when they get excited explaining something they are genuinely passionate about. It does not matter if it is astrophysics, a video game, or the history of a specific type of architecture. Their eyes light up, and they start talking a little faster. For a moment, you get to see pure, unfiltered enthusiasm. That is the good stuff. Story 6. Glasses on men, especially black-framed glasses, instantly increase attractiveness. Story 7. Also, a man who is not afraid to act ridiculous in public. My ex almost died when our son and I played a game at the grocery store. My current boyfriend is not afraid to act silly in public just to make me laugh. Story 8. A shadow on a man destroys me, especially if it is turning gray or white. Also, hands. Some men have such strong, beautiful hands. Story 9. When someone genuinely wants to get to know me through meaningful conversations, it makes a difference. Most men only talk about themselves. If a man asks me questions, I immediately feel a strong attraction. Story 10. Damage when it is obvious that they have been through difficult experiences, and it took and still takes effort to come out the other side mostly intact. Story 11. When they talk enthusiastically about something they love, I may not understand a single thing they are saying, but I truly admire their passion. Story 12. This is a random observation, but as a man, when a woman touches the middle of my chest with her palm, fingers pointed upwards towards my face, I like it a lot. Strange, I know. Story 13. That small stomach pouch that women get drives me insane, especially when you can see it through a sundress or tight-fitting shirt. Story 14. When a woman has that raspy voice that is about to crack, I do not know what it is, but it drives me crazy. Story 15. I am attracted to the stereotypical gay man persona. The big gestures, the high voice, and the confident attitude. It is very sexy, but I am a straight female. It is a problem. Laugh out loud. Story 16. The eyes of women who smile often and how they brighten up make me feel like the world is a perfect place. Story 17. I love chubbier men with strong arms and rough hands. Even better if he has a trimmed, clean beard with glasses. I like holding hands and cuddling with those types of men, especially if they have a hairy chest with a happy trail. Story 18. Masculine fingernails. They are not just bigger or shorter nails. They are shaped differently and cover a different portion of the fingertip. I cannot explain it, but seeing a hand that is clearly a man's hand is very attractive. Story 19. I love a softball build on a woman. Not too tall, stocky, with strong feet. I love a woman who is not afraid to compliment a man. I also love a homebody introvert. Story 20. The scarier and more intimidating a man is, the more I am drawn to him. Dominant, controlling, dangerous, jealous. I do not pursue them for obvious reasons, but I am very much attracted to those toxic traits. Luckily, I have the self-control to not act on my urges. Story 21. They genuinely treat me seriously in all aspects. I have been told that I have a baby face a few times, and I am also neurodivergent, so it is a complete turn-off when I am treated as if I am beneath a person. Story 22. When people are passionate about a hobby, it is heartwarming to see the joy in their eyes for something they love. Story 23. It might be ridiculous, but I am drawn to men who hide their emotions so well. Their words reveal nothing, but their eyes tell it all. Too bad it is that same silence that will make me walk away one day. Story 24. A nose that is slightly larger than what would be considered normal on an attractive woman. It gives her a uniqueness that sets her apart from other women. Story 25. Women in uniform or positions of authority or competence. Intelligence. When she can talk about deep or complex topics fluidly and enthusiastically. Story 26. Independence. Everyone thinks I live and die for taking care of my partners, but what I find incredibly attractive is someone who does not actually need it, yet accepts care with gratitude and does not take advantage. Story 27. Nothing is more attractive than a girl who has responsibilities and handles them independently. Story 28. Every year in my junior high, we would spend a couple of weeks learning square and line dancing before the Christmas party or assembly. One day, a resource teacher brought a couple of special needs students to our physical education class. I developed a crush on a girl because she danced with a special needs boy. She was so kind and nice to him. After one dance, she asked if he could dance with other people. The boy said yes, and he seemed to have a great time. She was not the typical good student. She usually hung out with smokers, stoners, and people who generally did not want to try in school. I don't think she particularly cared about school either. Maybe she actually knew him, maybe not. I have no idea, and I did not see them interact again. I tend to think I'm pretty nice. But that made me realize I had never taken the time to meet and get to know people who were different from me. Thank you, Jennifer. You have made a difference in my life without knowing it. Story 29. Older, fit women with a few wrinkles, but also perhaps a slight lift or simply well-applied makeup. It is a fine line. Story 30. Big nose, big teeth, big lips. Basically, any exaggerated facial feature I find very appealing, and I don't know why. Story 31. The way someone talks to animals or children. For example, if they gently speak to a dog or help a toddler without making a big deal out of it. An instant soft spot is unlocked. Story 32. Not really a secret, but I do not advertise it either. It is when a woman has a take-no-nonsense attitude while remaining soft and caring. When she has claws, everybody knows she has claws, but they do not come out unless it is strictly necessary. Then, God save your soul if you are the one who threatened her loved ones. Story 33. Kindness, like when someone genuinely shows consideration in a sincere and respectful way, is very attractive. Story 34. I have always thought that when black women wear bright colors, it is very attractive. Like a yellow dress or something bright. The contrast is striking and complimentary. I am not sure if many middle-aged white men share my view. Story 35. The area where a longer neck transitions into the shoulder has a graceful curve. Story 36. I'm attracted to funny nerds. I'll immediately crush on someone who cracks a joke and follows it up with some sort of trivia or historical fact. Triple points if they share a lot of information with me. I'd swoon if they wrapped all that up with clever quips. I'm hoping to meet someone someday who has the same very narrow niche interests and can talk to me about them with ease. I swear I'll marry them on the spot. I'll build them a house with my bare hands. I'll make them a garden. I'll do some wild things to show my appreciation for being able to have conversations with someone without annoying them. Story 37. I had a man remove his cowboy hat and shake my hand when we were introduced. It has only happened to me once, and I will never forget it. Remarkable. Story 38. I am attracted to men and women who provide me with financial support or buy me many things or food. It may sound typical and like a gold digger stereotype, but it is actually more of a fetish that excites me greatly. I discuss this on Reddit, but not openly in real life because I know people might misunderstand. Story 39. Women, when they laugh and smile out of nervousness while speaking to me, look incredibly cute. Story 40. Body hair, especially on the belly, love the happy trail. It makes me feel like my hairy body is normal too. I know body hair is normal, but my family does not act like it. Story 41. Something about people thriving in domestic settings. Like watching my partner softly hum to herself or dance while cooking breakfast. Or helping each other tidy around the house. I don't know how to explain it. I just love the feeling of domestic comfort with someone you love. It makes the mundane things feel magical. Story 42. Flat buttocks, small breasts, large nipples, especially when wearing a shirt or sweater where they are visible. Movies from the 1930s were great that way. They acknowledged natural features and did not cover them with pasties. Story 43. Middle-aged with a stern expression. Similar to Lena Headey in Game of Thrones or 300. She has a prominent nose that gives her face character and a dimple in her chin. Story 44. These are all individual characteristics. The combination would likely be extraordinary. Chin dimples, gapped front teeth and otherwise perfect mouths. Intellect, warm smiles, glasses, wears a sundress well, musician, painter or artist, photographer, or otherwise shows unique ways of viewing and embracing the world. Women in positions of power and influence or capacity, teachers, healthcare workers, mental health care workers, care about their own health and the health of others, are perpetually curious and excited to learn and teach, and advocate for therapy and healing instead of proving rightness or wrongness and being done with it. They are good communicators. Story 45. Women with a nice butt and thick legs but a little cellulite. It is just real. I feel women who have none are probably not 100% real. I appreciate the small imperfections. Story 46. Everyone thinks I am the most boring, straight-laced, quiet guy. I am attracted to women with tattoos and piercings, and strong, confident mothers. Story 47. Observing how loyal someone is to their friends and family is impressive. It involves the discipline of maintaining relationships with loved ones despite personal insecurities and without making assumptions. This quality is admirable and commands respect. Story 48. Women with prominent noses. Not really a secret, but when would I ever talk about it? Along the same vein, big, bouncy natural hair applies too, I guess. Anyway, my direct messages are open. Let me see that colorful hair detector, girl. Or the other thing. Story 49. I have canine teeth. It is rare to see someone else with them. So when I see a woman with canine teeth, I think, damn. It is not a must-have, but it is nice to see. Story 50. I am genuinely interested in stereotypical individuals often considered losers. For example, men who are not athletically inclined and spend a lot of time in their rooms engaging in their hobbies. Story 51. Strangely enough, anyone with dyed hair is automatically attractive to me. The brighter, the better. I do not know where it came from, but it is here. It is specifically with unnatural colors too. I just like a man with green hair. Story 52. The way they think and reflect is genuinely interesting and attractive when they can create stimulating conversations. Story 53. It is not sexual attraction, but I am in awe of people who hold a pen not just for writing, but as an aid for speaking, moving it around mindlessly. I can watch all day. Generally, people who are emphatic with hand movements but graceful. Story 54. Butts. Not because I am gay. Let me explain. You see, I am a shy person, and I avoid looking into people's eyes because it is somewhat scary. People can see you. To notice people, I usually had to suffice with seeing them from behind. The most attractive thing you could see from behind would be the way they walk or their butts. I think I have developed a radar for people like that as well. I will not go into much detail, but that is why I am not a breast person, and I hope that is okay. Story 55. This is a guilty pleasure kind of thing, but I quietly admire people who can get into trouble and get away with it. No one in my life knows this because I always complain about people who avoid accountability, and I do believe it is a huge turnoff when a person messes up and deflects the blame. Story 56. Someone who does not deliberately ignore others to appear cool and unapproachable, who is aware of details and behaves accordingly. Story 57. I knew a girl once who was not my type, but I heard from her best friend that she had no gag reflex. Her husband is a lucky man. Story 58. This is going to sound creepy, but watching a woman I am dating sleep, especially if she is leaning or lying on a part of me, is just kind of nice. It is peaceful to see her like that. I really hope that is not weird. Every time I have mentioned it, they always get uncomfortable, but that is probably because I do not express it properly. Story 59. If someone is not secure about what they are doing or texting on their phones or laptops, I do not want to know anything. However, for me, if someone is very protective of their privacy, there might be something going on. My partner can always look at my phone or whatever because I do not have anything to hide. Story 60. Something about being next to a man who physically takes up space with his presence can feel safe and comforting. I think it is also about contrast, feeling small in comparison, like you could be held or completely enveloped by someone else. It is not about feeling weak. It is more about feeling you can let go, knowing someone else can take care of you. Story 61. I like big girls, pretty kitty girls, really witty girls, singing ditty girls. I like leggy girls with nice thighs. I like a good chest, no matter the size. I like belly folds. I like six-packs, really tall queens, and short stacks. It's wild this guy got death threats and was called gay for singing a song about how he likes the opposite sex. Also, my answer is crooked bottom teeth. I don't know why, probably because I have crooked bottom teeth, but I find them cute. Story 62. The vividity and vibrancy of their soul. I like to work out before work in the 5 to 6 a.m. slot, and as you'd expect, it's mostly psychopaths, dead inside corporate employees, and elderly people. But there is this one really sweet younger woman, in her late 20s, who spends the first 20 minutes of her workout going around and talking with the wide tapestry of people exercising. She's very clearly having engaged conversations with them and brightening up their mornings. It's not just pretty girl talking to me. You can clearly see them perk up. That is so attractive to me. I spend all my time at work in fake conversations, pageantry, hyperbole, and general corporate posturing nonsense, and I can't explain how refreshing it is to watch this extroverted ball of light at 6 a.m. prance around and be so genuine. She's cute, of course, but it's that purity of her personality that emanates such beauty. Yeah, I definitely have a crush on her. But in my defense, authenticity is such a rare bird in these woods you can't help but admire it any time it flies by. Story 63. I am attracted to interesting noses. They can give a woman's face so much character. I do not actively seek this trait in a partner, but it is something I have noticed about myself over time. Story 64. No one knows that person. I am the only one who knows of them. Maybe it is her choice, and she does it to show her appreciation or because she likes the idea that I am her entire world. Either that or it is a mental illness, which is much more worrying. Story 65. Their caring attitude. If I see a man caring for me, I am 100% going to be attracted, of course, given that both of us are single and available. And if he also happens to be intelligent, then it is game over for me. Story 66. Admit that we are all interested in benefit, but in different forms. If I know that this person could help me or give me some advice one day, why not keep in touch with them? Because I only read about romantic things here, but where is life? Story 67. Physically. Small hands and feet. I find them cute. I am also a sucker for a good back, whether it is muscular or simply pleasant to look at. Non-physical kindness. Kindness is always attractive. Story 68. Men's calves. I do not know, my eyes just go there, and if they have nice muscular calves, it is a big turn on for me. Story 69. When they are really dominant and get jealous in a protective way, not an insecure way, they are really sweet, have a soft voice, and are very gentle. Story 70. Physical scars and some stretch marks. Non-physical. The ability to hold a conversation, the ability to go into depth on topics, being studious, eye contact. Story 71. I am a gay man, but there is something about a woman with a deep, throaty voice, such as Carrie Coon, that I find very attractive. Story 72. Fancy glasses. Glasses that make someone look like they own a multimillion-dollar bookstore in the middle of New York. Also, they smell fresh, like they just got out of the shower. Story 73. As a blind person, I wasn't expecting so many people to say voice. Whenever I mention it, people are like, what? Also, I love a contagious laugh. Even laughs that some people consider annoying, I think are amazing. Don't get me wrong though. Some laughs are downright awful. Story 74. The ability to call out nonsense in others without any fear of social repercussions. The soft yet smoky voice. Story 75. I am a super recognizer, so I see every little detail of a person's face. The shape of their nostrils is either acceptable or unattractive to me. I know it is weird, but I cannot turn off that part of my brain. Story 76. Thick, bushy eyebrows. A great smile. An amazing listener who remembers the small details. And a great tan. Story 77. Things I find attractive in a woman. A slightly larger than average nose. A large brain. Curly, voluminous hair. Sharp wit and a sense of humor. A clear, articulate voice. Story 78. Natural scent. Clean but not perfumed. Does not smell like soap. A woman who is adventurous but not overtly so. Story 79. Let it be like a weirdo. I don't know. The one I like is the typical stereotype of a video game fanboy, including the annoying side. Story 80. The woman's attitude. Most people who find out about who has flirted with me see that the woman is visually attractive, but they do not know what actually happened. Story 81. Friendliness. Even if someone is physically attractive but unfriendly, it is unpleasant. However, friendliness matters more to me than physical appearance. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.